Hello, my name's Wimpy. Welcome to my world. Thank you for coming back. Those of you that were here last night, those of you who weren't, welcome back anyway, or welcome if you're here for the first time. So, where do we start? Oh my. I'm looking at the chat thinking, oh goodness, what are we about to do? There might be some disappointed faces, but let's get on with this and explain what's going on. So, the Ubuntu MATE team had a team meeting, is it a couple of weeks ago now, I think? Monica, who's here, thanks for the sub, Ray. Monica's who's here, and some of the other team members, Big Pod's here. Gosh, that's a lot of chat going by. I'll flip over there now so we can see that whiz past. So we discussed a whole bunch of things about what we're going to work on for Ubuntu MATE 2104. And one of the things we discussed is things that we want to add, which we're not doing this evening, and things that we feel aren't up to snuff. Things where it's creating a lot of issues and frustration for users, and we looked at whether they were viable or not. You know, are they getting the appropriate maintenance and development time that they need? And the sad answer is no. So we're going to remove some things from Ubuntu MATE in order to, or at least remove them from the default install, so that those people that love these features can install the extra bits and pieces. Maybe we'll put some buttons in welcome or something at some point. But for now, we're going to remove some bits and pieces that are pain points for users and potential users. The reason for the stream name is ostensibly it's the Mutiny layout. It relies on a number of technologies, some of which are just not up to snuff, and that's like the MATE doc. The developer who was maintaining that stepped away, and I've not been able to invest the time I need into that. It's a source of a lot of frustration. So when we start thinking about removing that, then the Mutiny layout goes with it. And then there's some underlying technology that all sits on top of, like app menu, and then it can integrate with the HUD. And none of those are getting the attention that they deserve. So those are going to be removed from the default install of Ubuntu MATE. But we're going to do this in a responsible way. So we're going to move these things into a different seed so that they still retain a supported status in Ubuntu MATE. And what that means is that for anybody that still wants to install those things manually, they will still be there to be installed and used, but they won't be there by default. Now, I would like to keep up with chat, but by goodness, it's going by awful fast this evening. So, somebody said remove swap evolution for Thunderbird. No, we did that just recently the other way. There were good reasons, and I think we described those well in the release notes. And celluloid and VLC, again, we swapped those two for a good reason. Also see the release notes for the rationale. I suppose these live streams are an opportunity to sort of show what our intentions are, what we're planning to do, a bit of transparency. And I know Monica has been writing up the notes from our meeting, so meeting minutes, and we'll be posting those in the community forum as well. So as these meetings take place, the outcomes will be available for everyone to see. So as you're watching this, if you are enjoying it, give it a thumbs up. If you're getting value from it, subscribe to the channel. You'll have seen that, you know, little alerts go off. And if you don't like it, give it a couple of thumbs down. That works too. So, why were the apps swapped? Go and read the release notes. It's on the Ubuntu MATE website for the 2004 release. You'll find all of the explanation as to why those apps were switched from one to another. I don't need to repeat that here. All that information is already available. So, yes, so Aris, I see that you're attached to the HUD. And so part of our rationalization for removing some of these things from the default install is because the Ubuntu Unity Remix is a thing now. And for those people that are seeking sort of a full-blooded Unity experience, then you can get that there. And that's probably a better place to get that sort of desktop paradigm. But like I say, none of these things are being outright dropped. They're just being removed from the default install. So with that, we will need to make some changes. Let's just see. Thanks for the subs, everyone. I appreciate that. Gosh, there's so much chat going by. Right. Okay, so you're saying, yeah, okay, so you'll still have an option ADS. If you want the Unity-like experience with Ubuntu MATE, it will still be installable, just won't be in the default install. This has some benefit as well. We expect that there'll be a slight reduction in memory footprint by doing this, because there'll be some component technologies that won't be in memory the whole time, and it should slightly reduce the image size, which isn't as big a concern today as it was 10 years ago, but there are still parts of the world where the size of the images is important, because you have to download them, and internet isn't fast and readily available everywhere in the world yet. So gosh, so much. There is a Slackware MATE edition. It's maintained by a friend of mine, Willie, who's in the Slackware team. He's been doing that for years now. We used to race each other who could release the new versions of MATE desktop the fastest. Does Ubuntu MATE ship with an Office suite? Yes, it does. It ships with LibreOffice. Wow, there is so much chat. I'm going to have to rely on Bill and Monica to kind of help out a bit there, because there's such a lot going on. Now, the other thing, of course, is that if we remove some of these bits and pieces, it means we can consolidate the experience around a smaller set of things, and we can focus our attention on those. And later in this cycle, we'll be hopefully adding some new features to Ubuntu MATE to sort of kind of offset this change. So if you're not subscribed, get subscribed now, because we'll be talking about that at some point in the future. My name, maybe it's in the Ubuntu 1910 release notes, in which case, because I think we made that change in 1910. Right, okay, so without further ado, let's go and get started with this. So let's pull that in there. So the first thing is, there's this relationship of seeds. This is how Ubuntu distributions are composed. There are seeds which say what packages are in the image, and then those seeds go through a process called germinate that turns them into meta packages as well. And then those are the things that are used to actually construct the image. So this is the seeds. I haven't moved away from Bazaar, so they're still in Launchpad in a Bazaar repository. So what we'll do first of all is go and I think I have them already. So oops, wrong screen. So Ubuntu MATE So this is the seed files, and I think we're going to probably need to look at core, desktop, maybe live, and we'll definitely need supported. So these are the files we're going to edit. Now, the core file basically corresponds to the minimal desktop, MATE desktop, with some of the Ubuntu MATE pieces, but not all. So first of all, there are these bits here. These app menu packages are what makes the global menus work and things like that. I was just looking at the various integrations, and I think I'm going to remove these. Well, I say remove. I'm going to move them out of the default install. But this is going to require some changes in some of the other layouts as well. So let's pull that out. And then the reason that we're putting these into this supported thing here is if I don't put them here, they would get removed from my what's called package set, the things that I can upload to the archive. I don't want to lose the ability to maintain these packages. I just don't want them in the default install anymore. So anything that has been removed from like the default install or is intentionally not in the default install, like Kaja Dropbox, because that pulls in a proprietary component, can't be in the default. It's here to signify that I maintain it and I want to continue to upload it. So that's the first thing we'll pull over. And going down this list here, we've got some Kaja extensions. The indicator stuff is all fine. I think that we need to pull out because that's the actual applet. So that's going to go there. And the brackets in the core and desktop files, you'll see some things have got brackets around them. That means that they become a recommended package rather than a hard dependency. And there's the MATE doc applet that we're going to move over as well. So let's do that. And then here's the HUD. H. I can see chat moving. I'll just stop for a moment, see if I can catch up with any of this. Thanks, ADS. Thanks for the kind words. Yeah, my role at work for Ubuntu Desktop is different from what I'm doing now. I don't do a lot of hands-on development for my day job, more's the pity. But Ubuntu MATE gives me the opportunity to, you know, do that thing that I enjoy doing. Right then. Sorry, I'm just having a sip of beer. Nassif, I'm glad you like the way we're trying to reach out to the community. Yeah, in fact, Nassif, I was just talking to Daniel Foray from Elementary just prior to coming on this live stream, talking about the streams he's been doing recently, and I know that they've been popular with the Elementary community as well. I'm hoping that other people will be, other people that are working on stuff will, you know, do similar things. I think it's good to help onboard people into projects and the community. It's another way of reaching an audience. Gosh, so much chat. It's a bit intimidating. I could just sit here and read it all, but I won't. I'll move on. So let's just save that one in the supported column. Let's continue going through here. See if there's anything else which is specific to the dock or the HUD or the app menu stuff. These are fine. These are all fine. So that's the core stuff. None of this should impact anything. So these are quite interesting files to go and look through. If you go and look through the seed files for your favorite Ubuntu derivative, you can find out what all of the, you know, the guts of the operating system are composed from. Right, all of this is looking fine. There's nothing here that I'm surprised to see. That's all fine. Okay. Okay. That's all of the audio, multimedia. This is fine. That's required for accessibility. It's nothing to do with that menu. Okay. And there's the AV pieces. So just out of interest, if you have these 3 packages seeded in your Ubuntu distro, that's what makes the optionally enroll your system into Active Directory appear in the installer. Right, okay, so gosh, this goes on. The core package is quite large these days, isn't it? So that's that. And then I'll just go through the desktop side. I don't think this is going to have anything in it. I think this should all be leaf node applications. And there shouldn't be anything in here that's sort of at the fundamental sort of desktop environment component technology or anything like that. No, there it is. It's done. And I'll just take a look through the live seed. These are additional packages that get seeded into the image so that they're available in the image when you're running the live session. So it's the things that has, you know, the dictionary and the languages and all of that sort of stuff in it. And that's all fine too. Okay, right then. So that is, in fact, all of the changes I think we need there. So if we just bring up a diff of that, we should see bunch of things being pulled out there and added into supported. Why did that? Oh, because of line stripping, string stripping. What's the difference between a package name and a package name in brackets? Dan asks. If it's in braces, it means it will become a recommended package as opposed to a hard dependency. So these files will create meta packages, and then it will declare everything in braces is what's in the recommends, and everything that's not in braces will be in the depends line. If you're familiar with dev packages, hopefully that makes sense. Mutiny, yeah, mutiny will no longer be there by default. And what we'll do is we'll just review the code for Mate tweak a bit later to make sure that when some of these components, who's Wanda? Oh, good question, Yannick. I'll show you. So Wanda is the fortune telling fish in the Mate desktop. Yeah, it obviously came from GNOME originally, but yeah, Wanda is the fish, and in fact, a good barometer for how good our Wayland support is. It turns out that blooming fish of all things. Right. Okay. Right. I think that will do for this. So what we'll do is we'll push these changes back. Oh, actually, there's something else we're going to do as well. I've just remembered there's another thing we're going to do, which is we have a multitude of menus, and one of them is called Mate menu, this one here. This is the one that's used in the Redmond theme, and we're going to switch that out as well, because that is a big spaghetti mess of code that we're not going to get to, or at least the existing team is not going to get to. If you're watching this thinking, oh my gosh, this is my favorite feature, I really want to see that continued, hop on over to GitHub, github.com/Ubuntu Mate, get stuck in. If anyone shows willing and put some effort into these things, then, you know, with an active maintainer, we could bring some of these back into the default install potentially. Yeah, stripping it all out. So that's on the packaging side. I think that should probably do it. So I think I need to save this file. Oh, Yannick, thank you. I will be sure to feed Wanda with that very kind donation. Thank you. Right then. I'll just put myself to one side so you can see what I'm typing. Mate doc. Oh, what happened there? Default. Right then. So, that's the first time I've checked it out. Just need to push that back where it came. Right then, so that is the easy bit, or one of the easy bits at least. So, that's how easy it is to remove what was 18 months of work between 2017 and 2018 for me. All of that stuff I'm pulling out. For those of you that are disappointed to see features going away, from my point of view, this is undoing 18 months of hard work. So, you know, it's not without some, you know, personal loss as well. But, you know, the fact is they're not up to snuff. So it's time to pull them back and work on things that we can, you know, improve and make positive headway on. Could Ubuntu MATE possibly make its way through to Andronix? Ben, I've no idea what Andromix is. Can we install MATE tweak on Mint? Yes, I think so. Obviously, it's only useful if you're actually running the MATE desktop. If you're running Cinnamon, not so much useful. So, yeah, all of these packages are still there. They're just not installed by default. But what we need to do is then go and look at MATE tweak and some other things. So, let's go and build new meta packages. So the way we do that is I've got a browser open somewhere here. Here we go. The meta packages are in the conveniently named Ubuntu MATE meta. So this is when the last round of meta packages got imported into the Hirsute archive. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull down the last version of that package and then update it. So thank you very much, Barrel and Blue, for that super chat. So you say the biggest thing for you is the fractional scaling that actually works. GNOME fractional scaling is a total joke. It's super blurry and does not scale. Yeah, I think... So we have integer scaling in MATE, and the only point at which we can really introduce fractional scaling is when we've got a full Wayland implementation. And I guess you're referring to GNOME's fractional scaling implementation on X, because behind the scenes it's using Xrandr, and that does introduce, you know, some blurriness, and it can also have a performance penalty. And I think we've put words to that effect in the settings in Ubuntu, so that if you want to enable fractional scaling, it does tell you what some of the caveats might be. Right then. Hello, for those of you that are joining, thank you for introducing yourselves. It's always nice to see who's stopped by. So let's do meta. Oops. So we'll go and get this source package. I'll just push myself to one side so you can see. There we go. So that's pulling down that source package, and we now have an Ubuntu MATE 1.266.1 file. And I'm just going to check a couple of things. I think this is one of the advantages of being an Ubuntu flavor, not because of my role at work, but because the people that contribute to Ubuntu are good people. I think that my config file has already been updated, but I'm just going to check. No, it hasn't. Okay, so the import was a manual import. So we'll just change this to Hirsute. and let's just copy this in multiple times. So obviously we're working against a new series now, so we need to change all of these references. I'm going to do it by hand so you can see what I'm doing. Ordinarily I would get in here and just do a global replace, but you can see there's a couple of references to the different archives that are used to compose Ubuntu MATE. Something that's interesting, you'll see here that this Ubuntu MATE can be composed from packages in main. They're security supported packages, the restricted archive, which is where you get, you know, drivers like the NVIDIA driver, and universe. Now, Ubuntu proper can only be composed of packages that are in main, and therefore only packages that have been subject to a manual security review. So sometimes people say, oh, well, why can't you just include, you know, package XYZ in Ubuntu? And that's usually because it may depend on a lot of things, and all of those things would need to go into main, and all of those things would need a security review in order to do that. So there is a list of things we would like to include in Ubuntu, but then there's a backlog of security review that needs to happen before we can include them. So there we go, and don't think, yeah, that's all fine, and that's all fine too. So let's just save that. So I've just changed this config file that tells Germinate where to go looking for the files that drive it, which is basically that seeds file that I just updated earlier. Gosh, so much going on here. I do apologise if I'm not getting to all of the chat. There's so many of you chatting this evening, which is lovely. If I was to go through all of this, simply wouldn't get through the other stuff. Right, let's just have a quick look. We've gone off into hot dog territory there at some point. Right, okay. Aris, I'm glad you appreciate those explanations. I'm trying to, you know, as I'm doing things, I'm trying to, you know, commentate on what I'm seeing, what I'm doing that may be of use to, you know, people watching that maybe they wouldn't be aware of otherwise. Right. Right, okay. So what do I need to do now? I now need to run the update script, and I think what I'll do is I will run that in a terminal. So let's just bring a terminal down here, because this spits out quite a lot of stuff. So let's just do this. There we go. So Ubuntu MATE meta, there we go. And we'll run update, and this should go and pull in the seed files that I updated earlier, and then update the meta packages and automatically build the changelog of all of the packages that are being pulled in or excluded from the various source things. So while that runs, I can actually catch up with what you lovely people have been chatting about. John, you and your introductions. I didn't see your introduction from last night until I watched back part of the stream earlier. Your favourite colour is clear indeed. Right. Downloading Ubuntu MATE again. Thanks, Alan. Thanks for that. Yeah, Ubuntu MATE 2010 was a good one. I was very happy with how that one turned out. But that seems to be the way it goes. The current one is always better than the last one. Wonder if Wanda likes hot dogs. I don't know. You could ask her. You could install Ubuntu MATE and find out. Right, I'm just reading. Gosh. I usually greet so many people, but there's so many of you in here. I mean, it's lovely. I'm going to have to think about how I handle this kind of situation in the future. Yeah, Yannick, that's a good question from Bill. When is the next TL Grey Hot? And also, is the one that I did with you out yet? Because I don't remember being notified about it. If not, paste a link in here and Bill and I... In fact, I also need to add Monica to the moderators. Can I do that from here? I can't do it from the screens, but Monica, I'll add you to the moderators here after. I did think of that earlier, I just didn't get to it. Right, okay, so that's finished, and we can see a summary of what's changed here. Oh, Qt 5 style removed. Why was that, I wonder? That's an unexpected change. So we'll have to dig into why that's happened. So if we the first thing we'll notice is that it's revved the package, so we can go here, and in fact I'm going to manually edit this because I don't want this point on here anymore. That's now unnecessary, so we'll change that to that. Get rid of the search. So this automatically updated the thing here. Our release series is going to be Pursuit, which is the code name for what will become 2104. So it tells me it's going to remove app menu GTK2 and GTK3 from the core recommends and the desktop recommends, which is what we're expecting. That the app menu is also being removed from core and desktop recommends, which is expected, as is the Mate doc applet and Mate HUD and Mate menu. But then this is actually surprising. So, oh no, it's GTK2. That's unsurprising. That's fine. I have no problem with that. That would have been brought in by this. So it's fine. So it's fine that that's going away. That isn't surprising. So I think, just for the sake of being thorough. Ooh, goodness. We'll build this in a PPA. I'm just going to close all of these files. So, and I'm just going to move Ubuntu Mate that to Ubuntu Mate 1.27, isn't 1.67. There we go. Let's just make sure I've got the right version number in the thing there. 1267. So we'll build this in a PPA, just in the same way we normally do. We're going to build a source package, put in my signing key password, and we'll put that to, I'm just going to whack myself to one side. Well, that was exciting. Not quite sure what happened then. Play round. So we'll upload this to our testing PPA that the team use for testing stuff. And really what I'm doing here is I'm just making sure that this is going to build correctly. It should do. It's a very simple package. But that will give me some peace of mind that that's going to work properly. Right, so let's... I'm just catching up in the chat here. Thanks for stopping by. Not so actually, Lothar. No, now the styling comes from the GTK3 stuff. The QPA speaks to the GTK3 theme, so that will be fine. Yeah. So Lothar, yeah, that all of that QPA setup is in the Ubuntu Mate settings, and it pushes all of the appropriate settings into the environment automatically, so that you don't have to. And this is a good example of something we discussed adding to Ubuntu, but then the package requirements are quite massive, and it's quite the backlog of things that we need to review for main inclusion. So Jamie says, thank you for the tip about roast potatoes. You used them today. I hope they are okay. Anyone wondering why we're talking about roast potatoes, go to ubuntupodcast.org and listen to the most recent episode where we discuss some of the things we've been doing during lockdown that didn't involve a computer. I've been making lots of roast potatoes. The best roast potatoes, I'd like to think. Right, okay. Let's have a think then. I did make some notes earlier. So I've talked about what we're removing and why. I have moved things into supported. So now I'm just going to take a little look at Mate Tweak, because I can't recall how it evaluates what components are available. This should be all up to date. So let's just bring this up here, and let's think now. Let's think. What are we interested in? Mutiny. So this is some of the logic as to what it needs to do. That's not what I'm looking for in this case. What I'm looking for is how it determines if the appropriate things are available. Oh, I've gone off the screen. So that we don't need to worry about. All of this can stay here. There's no reason why we need to remove any of this functionality from Mate Tweak itself. So determine maximize windows should be undecorated, so that's fine. That's again logic to manage the components accordingly. Okay, so it says here, this is what I'm looking for. So it says that it requires, in order for Mutiny to work, we need the dock, we need the app menu, we need indicators, and we need Brisk. So obviously these two evaluations are going to fail, and therefore it won't list Mutiny in the thing, which is, I'm pleased to see. I thought I was sensible enough to do it the right way. So what this will mean is that if you install those packages, Mate Tweak will automatically detect the presence of the appropriate technology and present the options. So that's fine. So let's just have a little look down here at what else is in here. So this is an interesting one. Redmond says if Mate menu is available. So what we're going to need to do is drop that out. So all of these tests here I just need to review, because now some of these things are going to be different. So let's just take a look through the whole lot, and here we go. So Contemporary says it needs the app menu applet, so that one's just going to degrade gracefully. I don't need to make any changes here, that's fine. So, prefer indicator enable Cupertino layout and fall back to a non-indicator version. Okay, that's fine, and that means that the Cupertino layout is also going to degrade gracefully because it won't satisfy this test anymore, the app menu applet test. So that's fine. And then familiar, that's just going to work. That's the default. That's expected. Fedora's there because of our friends at Fedora. I've got contributors that work on Mate desktop with me who are Fedora maintainers. We've got the one for Linux Mint. So again, that will degrade cleanly because it's Mint menu in this case. So this would only work on Linux Mint anyway. Magia, I don't know. Somebody added that. Manjaro, that will work just fine. So what's this one? This is Mutiny. We looked at that earlier. We know that that's going to degrade. And then we've got Netbook. That will degrade correctly. OpenSUSE. That needs a specific tool now. And then Pantheon says it just requires Brisk and the indicators, so that should continue to work without issue. And then we have Redmond. So this will mean that Redmond is going to simply disappear from the list. So I think what we'll do is we will change this to that. And then we'll go and change the Redmond layout to use the Brisk menu rather than the MATE menu, because there are obviously people that prefer that single panel at the bottom. So Swaddin, what this means is that the Cupertino layout won't be available by default in the default install unless you install the requisite bits and pieces. But what will be there by default is the Pantheon theme, which is almost identical in every way except for the Pantheon doesn't have a global menu, whereas Cupertino does. And it's that global menu which is one of those technologies which it's just hard to maintain now. You know, there are some applications and frameworks now where you simply can't do that anymore. So it's a bit of a thankless task. When it works really nicely, I have to say. But can't rely on it being around. It will also... Actually, no, that's not true. I was about to say it will also prohibit our progress towards Wayland, but that's not true at all. And then we've got the traditional one, that's fine. So, that, I think, is, interestingly, the only change we're going to require there. So, let's go up here. And we'll just change this version number to 2104.0. Right. And we'll fire up Git Kraken and we'll open the MATE tweak. I got that in my list of things. No. So we'll open up MATE tweak. And we'll just stage those two lines there. So we've got a couple of changes here. We'll just change this. Brisk menu. So we'll save that. And then we will bump the version number here. Oh, 4.0. We'll push this up. Oh, what am I being tagged for here? Let's have a look. Need to change. What have I done there? Did you say I've got a typo? Why is that? Oh, I'm in the wrong screen again. Well, let's just go and look at Git Kraken. What did I do? What's Dan saying? Sorry, I think Dan's pointed out I've made a mistake and I'm just trying to spot what the issue is. Dan wants your attention. What did Dan say though? Need to change self.mate menu available in the elif. Spotted, Dan. Right, I see what you're saying. Thank you. Pair program on a live stream. This is where I get value out of doing this, because that's a bug in the waiting that now we're not going to encounter because somebody spotted the issue. So let's this needs to be brisk. This is the one for Redmond. Thank you, Dan. I appreciate that. Okay, stage that. So we'll make the no indicators variant Redmond depend on brisk menu. There we go. So let's push that up, and then we'll go and tag that release in GitHub. Yeah, cheers, Dan. Nice one. Yeah, massive multiplayer code reviewing game. I mean, I was talking to somebody earlier. I was Popey about, you know, getting help on live streams. It's very, very useful. So let's just hop on over to GitHub then. So we should find that if we go here, because we've just pushed to the project, there it is. There's the most recent changes. And we'll make a new release here. Again, doing this by hand so that people can see what's going on rather than just running some scripts that push some APIs. Right then. Oops. Spot that. See my own typo that time. It's okay. You can stop typing in chat. Right then. So we are going to just say make Redmond depend on the brisk menu. So we will push that release. And that now means that I can go and revise the package for MATE Tweak itself. So what we'll do now is go and update the packaging, which exists in Debian. So we will go and find that. It's been here before, or at least not since I reinstalled. Right, there we go. I'll just make sure we've got all of the latest stuff. We do. So these were the most recent changes. Drop, so that's fine. New upstream release. So we will simply update this new version with new upstream. I'll just stick myself to one side. Upstream release. New Debian package version native whilst whoops, made a little mistake there, but I think I'll just be able to correct that manually. Yes, I will. So let's just change this. I put the suffix on there, and this will be that. So I will now the way that we do things in Debian, or at least in the MATE project in Debian, we have a very formulaic way of putting our things together. So I should be doing add that change log and then committing with a very specific code change. I don't need the bug reference. There we go. And what this will do is it'll automatically compose some things in Debian automatically for us. So that's good. And now I can just go up here, and what I'll do is I will make that 0 and suit 1.0 and suit. So the reason I've dropped this down to 0 is to ensure this version that I'm going to build in a PPA and that I may or may not upload to the Ubuntu archive is going to be a lower version than the version that will appear in Debian, so the version in Debian can automatically sync over the top. I may not actually upload this to Ubuntu early in the development cycle, so there's plenty of time for Mike, the Debian developer that I work with, to push this upload to Debian and it will just automatically roll into Ubuntu. So let's just get rid of that search bar there, that's getting on my nerves. Even better if I'm doing it on the right screen, and I'll bring chat back up. Right, so let's, if I spelled Hasuit correctly, yes. So what we need to do now is actually, I've got a new upstream tarball, so I'm just going to pull that down. So that's going to download that release we made in GitHub. There it is. And now I can make a Debian source package based on that. And there it is. And now I can deput to that same PPA, except it's playground. And I just need the source URL. There it is. Source path, rather. So there's that. So that is hopefully a modified version of MATE tweak. This isn't all that needs to be done, but it's another piece in the puzzle. And if we hop over here, we should be able to hop over to Launchpad, me, and somewhere down here we've got the playground. And then if we just go and look at details, and then if we filter by Hasuit, there we go. So last night we built this package because we were doing some artwork changes, and then we can see that our meta packages are built just fine, so that's good. So now we have MATE tweak building, and because it's a pure Python package, doesn't need to compile anything on for different architectures. So I'm seeing some things in chat. So whilst we wait for that to build, well, not wait, but I'll use this as an opportunity to catch up. Yes, so Big Pod points out this is the online version of people looking over my shoulder as I'm coding. Yes, and I'm just trying to be okay with the fact that I'm, putting myself out there and I will make mistakes and people will spot them. So, you just have to come to terms with that. But I do appreciate the assistance. It's most welcome. Right then. Should I close the PR in MATE tweak as this might cause conflicts? No, Joshua, you don't need to. I didn't even spot your PR. I should have looked. But through the magic of Gitkraken, it makes merging and fast forwarding really easy. So I can take care of that, no problem. So which package? So Bacon Drinker asks, which package is the layout file included in? That is in, I think I'm right in saying, Ubuntu MATE settings, and that's the next thing we're going to do, is update, I think, 3 layouts. No, just 1, Redmond, because we've just looked at MATE tweak and we've figured out MATE tweak knows when it can offer certain layouts. So the only one we need to update is Redmond. So we'll go and do that next. And Joshua says I could push it to experimental. I think you're talking about Debian experimental, Joshua. I could upload directly to Hasuit, but I do make mistakes, as we saw earlier, and I prefer to upload into the PPA and then find people like Bill and Monica and some of the other team members will double check stuff and make sure it isn't horribly broken, so that when we actually put things into the archive, we're satisfied that they should work correctly. So Nolan says, is there a particular reason MATE tweak is a primary single monolithic file? Only because it was forked from, I think it's called Mint Desktop. It was forked from a Mint project, I don't know, 5 years ago, and it was a single monolithic file, but it didn't do a whole lot of stuff. So I just started adding to it, and before you know where you are, you end up with this large file. And I was talking about this with someone, in fact, in the notes below, the description below this video, there's a link to the Discord. After this, I'll be hopping in the community center voice chat, so if you've got any follow-on questions and what have you, we can have a proper conversation in there. And I was talking to somebody about precisely that last night, and it really comes down to, it kind of grew beyond itself, and then you get in this situation where you don't have time to refactor it and clean it up. You end up just living with it, so it's just happenstance, really. No grand plan there. So Yannick asks about my prompt. Is that a fish extension? Yes, it is. I will type the name of the fish extension because I was asked this last night. It is called Shelder, and I've just typed it in there, and that is a powerline prompt for fish, and you'll need to go to Nerd Fonts and get yourself a powerline enabled font to go with it, of which there are Ubuntu versions. So machine name Ripper, yes, John. That's because, in fact, let's just do this. Hang on a moment. Let's not do that. Let's do this. If we do, oh, wrong screen. This is my new computer, and it doesn't quite fit on there, but there's the 64 cores, so it's a Threadripper system, and jolly nice it is too. So yeah, that's why it's called Ripper. Yeah, so AJCD, yeah, Sheldair's great. I've tried some other ones that claim to do the same thing, but Sheldair's just the nicest in my opinion. Right, okay. So William, the traditional applications, places and system menu is still there. And if you switch to the traditional layout, you will get exactly what you'll be familiar with from, you know, like the GNOME 2 experience. So it's all still there. You can just turn it on, no problem. Right, okay, I think first world problems, all you of course can't fit on the screen. Indeed, yes, very much a first world problem. Are you streaming? Is it still at 3%? Let's have a look. CPU utilization for this stream is 1.3%, and it's rendering frames in 5 milliseconds, so it's doing a good job. And I think last time I looked, we couldn't probably see there, but I think my OBS set creates about 290 threads. It's fairly significant. Right then. Let's just go and see if that has finished. It doesn't matter if it hasn't, because what we'll do now, it's built successfully. It's just publishing to the PPA. So what we'll go and do now is who was it that was asking? Was it Bacon Drinker? I think it was asking about where the layouts themselves exist. So we'll go and deal with that now. So that's in Ubuntu MATE settings. And that should be fine. And this settings file is a lot like the artwork package we looked at last night, where if I bring this up, bring this down, oh, that's on the right screen. That's amazing. Right then, so development, yes, it is on the right screen as he looks at the stream. Ubuntu MATE settings. This is a super simple package where the layout, the content is, you know, exactly where you would expect to find it. And what we're going to be going and playing with is in here, layouts. Here are all the layouts. And we're going to be fiddling with this one. So let's just open it in Visual Studio Code. And here we go. So that's the MATE menu thing. So actually, if I just go back to that file browser, one that uses Brisk would be familiar. And that's what the object instantiation looks like for that. So we would need to get rid of that. Let's just make sure this has got a position 0 in it. It does. So it's the appropriate thing. It's locked. It's the right ID. So I think that's actually the size of the change we need to make there. I'm just going to check because there are some of these that have, in addition to a layout file, they have a panel file. So Mutiny has one of those, but Redmond does not. So that should be all that's required to modify the Redmond layout to use Brisk rather than MATE menu. So these positions are actually coordinates, but the panel is clever enough to make sure they don't step on one another. So this is obviously a pixel 0 and then a pixel 10, or padded to, you know, the appropriate distance is then the show desktop thing and all the rest of it. So this is the bottom panel and this is the order in which they appear. Right, okay, so that looks good. So let's close that and close that, and we'll oops, let's get rid of that. I'm just gonna stick myself to one side. Right then, just going to push myself to one side whilst I do that. I was just looking at chat there. Another place I can look at chat as well. Right then, yes, changelog. And what was the last version? 2010.1. So DCH, we're going to make this 2104.0. This is a native package. And we'll say change Redmond layout to use Brisk menu. That's what that change does. Code changelog. And again, we'll build this in our PPA. So this is a very small package. That is the change we need. We don't need to pull anything down, so we'll build a source package and we'll put that into the PPA. You're wondering what some of these tools are. There was a short stream last night where I went over modifying just one package and looking at some of the tools we use to do that. So if we flip back to here, bring up the chat, we should see another package enter into the queue momentarily. So, so yes, Esme, and also hello, thank you for joining us. Yeah, the layouts are just configuration files. Who knew, right? It's nice and simple, just a text file. And what have we got here? I saw somebody post something further up. So Simon Butcher mutiny layout. Yeah. So Simon, what's Simon saying? Did I miss something? Simon, I've missed the stream again. Can anyone summarize what's getting ripped out, please? I think you've had your answer, but we're dropping from the default install the mutiny layout, and some of the component technology that supports that layout can be installed after the fact should you want to. And so Monica, Bill will release note that for people that want it in the same way we did when we dropped Compiz, because you can still install Compiz and all of the support's just still there, but you know, if it doesn't work properly, then pull requests welcome. So yeah, I think that's kind of it. Hello Anderson, welcome. Right then, let's just see, did that turn up? Oh, I'm in the wrong screen again. It's so frustrating when I do that. There we go. So the settings package is building now as well. So I'm going to look at my notes. And my note says that I needed to move some things to supported, which we've done. Review Mate tweak, which we've done. Update the Redmond panel layout, which has been done. I said check the Cupertino and Contemporary panel layouts, which we now know we don't need to do. And then it says create a new Ubuntu MATE meta package, which we've done, and a new Ubuntu MATE settings package, which is happening right now. And in fact, I can see there's a hangover from when the settings package used to be a multi-arc package, and that could probably be removed, which I'll do another time. And to create a new MATE tweak, which has also been done. So when that has finished building, we'll be able to pull this in and, well, I tell you what we can do. We can prepare our virtual machine. So I have, rather conveniently, in a very Blue Peter kind of way, British reference there. It's a children's program where, here's one I made earlier, was a popular thing they used to say. Let's log in here and we'll remove, in fact no, I won't remove them yet. I'll be interested to see what happens when I add that PPA, which I can do now actually. So let's add the PPA. Let's just make that a bit bigger so people can see. Oops. There we go. Hopefully that's sufficient. App to add repository. Me. Playground. So we'll add this because some of these packages are there already. Oh, how apt! I forgot I put great big skull and crossbones on my testing PPAs. There you go. That's rather fitting for the topic, I think. Right then, so that's that done. So this will have an updated meta package. So technically, this may there we go. This. Oh, right, so it's pulled in some new stuff. As you can see, it's pulling in the new wallpapers from last night. So this is actually quite helpful because it's enabled me to test a change I made last night. And then it says here, the following packages were automatically installed that are no longer required. And there's the Vala panel stuff. There's the wallpapers for Groovy, Roffy, which was used by the HUD. That's the HUD. That's the HUD. Mate menu HUD, doc applet. So quite a lot of stuff being yoinked out here, and that's good. So this also shows that on an upgrade, it will sort of cleanly eject the bits that we don't want in the default system anymore. William Willis says you haven't used wobbly windows since Lucid. Well, you can still install compies on Ubuntu MATE, and they're there. You can have a play, relive those days. Have I missed anything else? I don't think so. So Swadhin, it's not part of the default install anymore, but the packages are still there. So if you want to install MATE HUD, you can. And if I just show MATE HUD, you can see here its dependencies are such that it will pull in MATE that, and that should pull in all of the Vala panel stuff. There we go. So yes, if you just install MATE HUD, it will all come back, and you'll be able to turn it on in MATE Tweak. It's just not in the default install anymore. And for those of you that missed the beginning of the streams, some of the reason for doing this is that some of these things are not well maintained, have bugs. It creates a lot of issues for people raising issues and what have you. And by removing them, they're not in the default experience, so people won't trip over these things. But also, it will, as you can see, there's quite a lot of things that got removed there. Things that are actually resident in memory almost the whole time. So that's stuff that won't be in the default running state of Ubuntu MATE anymore, which should slightly lower the memory footprint as well. So I wonder if that other thing has finished updating. Let's have a look. I need to be outside my VM to see that. Oh, it's nearly published. So we're just waiting for this settings package, and that will bring down a new thing. Now, actually, we should be able to test some of this now, actually, because if I now run MATE Tweak, we should find there's a whole bunch of stuff not listed in the panel layouts. Except it is still there, which is worrying. Okay, so we shouldn't be seeing that. Oh, I know why. We haven't actually removed anything. There we go. Critical step, which in the distribution release upgrader would remove those packages for you. So let's try that again. Let's run Tweak and now go and look at what we've got left. Our much shorter list. So there we go. We now have Familiar, Pantheon, Redmond, which is still showing up because... Why is that showing up? Because we do have Brisk Menu. Because we have Brisk Menu, so that's correct. What won't work is it will be a broken layout at the moment. And Traditional. So we're now down to those 4. So what's missing from there is Cupertino and Mutiny, right? And something else. But who was asking after the traditional stuff? So here we go. We switched to Traditional. Someone's asking for Applications Places System. There it is, just as it used to be. Just so happens that the default these days is this one, Familiar. And one of the big bugs is those other things that require the app menu stuff. The switching between themes is not super reliable. And you can see here, Tweak has done the right thing. It realizes there's no HUD available, so that option is grayed out. You can't install it. Can't enable it. So Swadin, who is asking after that, if you install MATE HUD and then restart Tweak. In fact, I tell you what, I won't do it now because it will mess up my testing. But if I was to do that, that button would enable and you'd be able to turn it on. So got Impertinent Human. Crikey, that was a bit difficult to read off the chat there. MATE is the only distro with a screen tearing fix in the Tweak tools. Will you continue this feature? I'm not sure what you're referring to there. Could you elaborate a little bit for me? I'm not sure if you're saying this is in Ubuntu MATE or something else, but let me know. Right, let's go and see if that settings package is finished. Look at this bill. I'm saving having to say to people, hey, I've uploaded a bunch of random crap into the PPA. Let me know if it works. Hopefully we'll get to the end of this knowing whether it works or not. So we know that tweak is good. We know the artwork's good. And we know the meta package is good. So actually, I tell you what, whilst we're waiting for that settings to publish, we may as well get those uploaded, right? So let's actually get those into the archive, because why not? So let's do the one we did from last night, which was Ubuntu MATE artwork. So we'll just drop, in fact it's already ready to go. So let's prepare that. And I'll just stick myself to one side so you can see what I'm doing a bit more clearly. So we'll just, oh, this takes a little while to compose because it's got 120 meg of wallpapers in it for 5 years of past releases of Ubuntu MATE. So netbook layout is missing. Ah, well spotted, Farron. Thank you for that. I will investigate that momentarily. In fact, before I won't upload MATE tweak to the archive yet. We'll go and investigate that one, see if we can figure out why. I wonder why that is. I wonder what I was using in the netbook layout. Well spotted, thank you. I'll just add to my notes over here so we don't move on to this. Check why netbook disappeared. Right. Jonathan Madden, brilliant. Yes. In fact, to be fair, if Daniel was to lean out of his flat window and shout really loudly, I could probably hear him from here because he's just on the other. He's on the other side of town from me. We live on opposite sides of the same town. Right, that's built. So let's stick that one in the archive. Talking of Dan and I living on in basically the same town. Remember when people used to like meet up and go out and stuff? Although the weird thing is, mostly I used to see Dan in America or Canada. It was another one of those strange things. So there's the artwork. So let's get you uploaded. So we know that's fine. Oh, in fact, we don't know it's fine, but we can test it as well. I'm sure it is fine. So let's just bring up the VM here. If I go to change desktop background, there we go. That was what we added last night. That new wallpaper for the Suit series. So there we have a circle of hippos. So that's what we were doing yesterday. Let's just go back. So that's working fine. So that's good that we've uploaded that and it's not broken. And then what else did we change? We changed the meta packages, which are good. So let's go and upload those. So we'll drop the suffix for the PPA and we'll get that built as a source package and then put that just directly into the archive. But we are going to go and check why Mate tweak isn't displaying the right thing. So that's that done. And let's go and see if the settings are published yet. Come on, Launchpad, go faster. It's Sunday night, there can't be anyone. It's only a tiny package, come on. Right, well, whilst that's doing that, let's go and see if we can figure out why tweak doesn't work. So let's go and look in user share, Mate panel, layouts, cat, and it was netbook, wasn't it? And there's a panel and a layout. Why have I got that, I wonder? So let's have a look at the layout here. That's why. That uses the dock applet that we've just removed. Okay. That'll be why I've got the layout thing as well. Okay, I know what we can do about this, because what we did in the past. Okay. So we'll need to make another change to that one. And we could use the compact layout, I think. So I can just drop that. Let's just add to the panel the compact menu. This will be for the netbook layout, that one. And then we'll just use tweak, because I can't remember what that's called, to save that as test. Okay. Panel. And we will find that there is a new thing in here somewhere. Where is it? Object 0. Oh, is it at the... There it is. It's this one. It's that one. Okay. Object type menu. Okay. Alright. Well, let's go and get that fixed then. Let's just have a little... I've been ignoring chat. I do apologise. Right then. Where are we looking at here? Hey, Nate. Yeah. Yeah, tier 2 as well. Oh yes, Bill, that is something we need to do, right? We want to trim down. Yeah, that's a good one. Good catch, Bill. I'll just add that to my notes here as well, because that is not something we're going to get to do this evening, but we can do that another time. So what Bill and I are just discussing there is Ubuntu Mate Welcome has got a panel layout switcher. So currently, Bill, the netbook layout uses the Mate dock applet, and I'm going to... Oh, we could use Brisk, I suppose. Yeah, actually, we'll do that, because that then means that super key activation continues to work. Oh, no, I actually see what you mean. Sorry. I see exactly what you mean. It only uses the dock applet for minimized things. It doesn't use the dock applet for its launcher. It's just where... Yeah. Yeah. So, Bill, yeah, I understand. So you're right. It uses Brisk as the menu, and it uses the dock applet for where minimized apps are placed. So we'll need to remove the dock applet and add the... there's a small window tray, isn't there? So it's not this at all. So let's... Oh, let's get rid of this. It's actually something like window list. It might win an applet that shows the Windows title. Window picker. It might be that one. Yeah, there it is. So, given that netbook is meant to be for screen constrained devices, we'll switch it to that, not the dock. So that's a standard MATE feature, so we don't need to change anything. So let's just go and update MATE tweak, because that's the easier thing to do first. So MATE, that's done. Get rid of you. Into MATE artwork. That's fine. We did all of the release and stuff. So somewhere in here there is an entry for netbook. Here it is. So all we need to do is remove that reference like so. Crikey. No activity for weeks, and then we do 2 releases in one evening. Oh, that's alright. I want this, don't I? Get cracking. So we're still in tweak here. So we will first of all say for netbook. Oh goodness. Okay, and then we'll bump the version there. Ooh. So we'll push that up. And we'll just go and do a release there quickly. I'll review your PR another time it swirls. I'm not going to get into that just this evening. Right, okay, so let's go and make a 2104.1. Make 4.1, and the changes are for netbook layout. So we'll push that release. That's that done. So now I can build a new package for that by going back to, hopefully that is the right path. It is. And then what we can do is just cheat horribly, do that. We'll get the new source tarball because we just published that in GitHub, and now we'll make a new source deb, and then we'll deput that to the PPA. Right, so that's MATE tweak. So that should fix netbook showing up, but it doesn't fix the fact the netbook layout is wrong. So we now need to hop back into our settings. Let me just do this. and it's going to be, oh gosh, just let me stick myself to one side. Layouts netbook dot, which one is it? Is it panel? Oh, let's just do both of them, because one of them I just need to delete now. This is the right thing. So this is the thing we're going to get rid of. This is going to be replaced with where's our VM? Oh, there it is. Right. So we'll now bring up tweak here. Panel, and we'll save as test. And here we go. This is the thing I want. So Mate window picker, factory camel case, Mate window picker. That should be everything I need to know. So this is going to be, oops. Mate window picker factory, and then Mate window picker. And this file here, the panel file, these are loaded by a helper when you need to push things in via decomp that you can't support otherwise, and that was required for configuring the dock applet with some default bits and pieces. So we will, that can just be dropped. Window button applet, what's that? Oh yeah, that puts the there isn't hang on a minute, notification indicator applet. Okay, I'm just making sure that the one of the Vala app menu things isn't here. No, it's not. Okay, so that can go, so we'll ditch that file entirely. So it's going to use the window picker applet. We can probably do that instead now. Right, there we go. So we can now just bump that, and we will go away. Don't want you, thank you very much. This is all in Git, so we can git rm user share panel layouts netbook. Oh, can't remember which was which now. The layout's the one we want to keep, I think. Yeah, panel is the one we want to get rid of. Yeah. Right, let's just take a look and see if we've got anything that expressly references that file, because it's possible. I think it might be in a wildcard, however. Yeah, the panel layouts are just everything in there, so that's fine, so I don't need to modify that. Okay, so let's rebuild the settings package and put that in the PPA as well. Okay. So we've done this check why the netbook has disappeared piece. Okay, let's just review where we are. Let's go and look at the Launchpad builder. And we should be able to see the current state of things. Typically we needed to rebuild that one that only just finished. So we've got a new Mate tweak on its way. And crikey, it looks like that one is waiting. Okay. So we'd just pushed the thing, the artwork package. Did I push the new meta package? Let's have a look. If not, we can do that because that is fine to push. Yeah, okay, so let's go and push that one up now. If I haven't already done so, it'll soon be obvious. This feels familiar already. I think we've been here, haven't we? Yeah, that looks good. And if we come back here, we've got a source changes file. I'm pretty certain that's been pushed up. Someone will remind me, I'm sure. Right then, let me just catch up with chat. Sorry for that. I put things to one side for a moment. It's a bit bad when I do that. Custom themes. Yeah, custom themes is tricky because you don't know what version of GTK 3 they were intended for. Okay, just catching up. Okay. Cheers, thanks for stopping by, Yannick, and thanks for the money for the fish food for Wanda. I appreciate that. Right then, it looks like Bill's got everything in hand there. Thanks, Bill, for answering all these questions. Somebody asked about pipe wire. Hang on a second, I'm just going to go back there. So what was this? Curious if Mate is still going to allow for custom themes. Yes, themes, as long as they support Mate, themes are supported. And GJG says, also any incentive for Ubuntu to use Pipewire? Yes, there is, and we're looking at that right now. In fact, can't tell you the exact status because I don't know, but I know it's something that we're tracking. Right, okay, so let's see if these things have finished. Okay, looks like we're getting there. My fat face is in the way, of course. So they're on their way. That one's built successfully. So actually we could cheat, right? We could go to the VM. Let's just shortcut this. So inside the VM, we can go to my Launchpad page. We can hop into here. We'll switch this over to a series that we're interested in, which is Hirsute. So just do this. We'll grab the deb from here. Oh, thank you for the super chat. GJG, thank you very much. That was very kind. So let's grab that deb, which is not published in the PPA yet, but we'll just suck that down manually. And then I wonder if it's not quite ready. Oh well. So let's just go and install that. So those of you that use dpkg-i on the command line, you should have stopped doing that years ago. Use apt install, give it the full path, and it will satisfy the dependencies for you. It's even better if you actually put your password in as well when asked. Right then, so that's done. So now I've got a new version of Tweak, and it should show netbook. There it is. Now it won't work because we need that settings file to update in order for these things to work. Right then. So yeah, you have to, so Joshua, you have to give it the fully qualified path to the deb that you want to install. Right then, so that's that bit done. Oh, come on, build faster, build faster. It's infuriating when it's such a tiny package. Technically, this would allow us to test this package, although... So we could use this one. What was the other one we updated? It was one of them. So we can go and grab this one. Copy link. Hello, Mr. Pope. How you doing? Right, so let's just grab that one down because there was one of the layouts that we've updated here, so we can at least get that working. How you doing, Popey? Yes, we had to explain exactly what we were up to here. Some very concerned people thinking that some of their favourite features were going away, but mostly the HUD actually, it seems, not so much the Mutiny layout. And we kind of discussed that in the team, that probably not the Mutiny layout so much because it doesn't work very well, but can understand why people like the HUD. And although it's not part of the default install anymore, it can still install it. What's this? Tweak tool, Windows, Marker, Accelerated Compositor. Oh, I see. Right. So it's called Impertinent Human. You want to use the adaptive compositor in 2004 or not. I think it may even have been in 1910, but the adaptive compositor is the one you're looking for, which will do the same thing. You're welcome. Thank you for coming back and explaining what your earlier question was. That makes so much more sense now. Right then. So we just installed that. What was the other layout that I was tinkering with that this has got a fix for? It was not that one, not that one. It was Redmond. So this should work. That's the idea, right? This should work. And it should use... Oh, and look at that, it doesn't work. Brilliant. Okay, so let's just flip that back to familiar. Famous last words. Say hello, Hayden. How you doing? Okay, so that works. What did I misplace? Oh, I know what I've done. I know what I've done. I know exactly what the problem is. Right, okay. I know how I've broken this. It's fine. This is fine. This is fine. Right, out of the VM. Back into the code very quickly. Right, meta packages are done, we think. So back to... This is a rookie mistake. Just stick myself out of the way there. Not netbook, but Redmond layout. Somewhere here, it's going to say top level ID, top. There is no top panel in the Redmond theme. That needs to be bottom. So let's then go here and rev that like so, and rebuild a new source package. Jam that in the appropriate places. There we go. Okay, so that should actually fix Redmond. I mean, I wonder, do I need to make sure? Let's, whilst I'm here, let's check the other one we've been modifying. It's very... Come on, Daniel Llewellyn, where were you? You've been here catching my mistakes. Where were you for that one? Right then, Redmond, and let's just look at the other one that we were looking at, netbook, just to make sure we're sticking that. Yes, there is a top, and that says top. Okay, good. Control Z. There we go. So close both of those down. That should be fine. Right then. So there, that's built. So at least we can now go and test the netbook layout with this one that's building, whilst we wait for it to build again with the most recent fix. So let's go and grab this and that there. Copy link. And where's our VM? All the way around the windows. There we go. Oh, that isn't right. Because I need to do it from here. Come on. What have I just done there? Oh, come on. Urgh. Right then, there we go. That was what we want. Okay. There we go. Let's install this, and the netbook layout should work again. That's the idea, at least. There's a MATE tweak there, so we'll just close that. So let's try netbook and hit OK. Right, glorious success. That one does actually work. So if I do that, we're now seeing the minimized icons appearing in this minimal app tray thing. So that's good, although why are none of the windows activating? only on this workspace. I switched workspaces. Okay. Oh, I see. Oh, that's a bug. We need to fix in the picker applet. That doesn't know unless they've actually been previously in the foreground. Okay, that's not a bug in the layout. That's just another bug. Brilliant. Okay. Meanwhile, let's go and see if this other thing is finished now. And what did we change in? We changed this to include what? I can't remember. We've already installed that, haven't we? Right, I'm just going to bring up chat because it feels like I've been heads down for a little bit. Okay. Just need to top up. Okay. Yes, Dan, pay close attention. So, it says here, playing with Shadowlands. Okay. Let me just pay attention whilst I pour a drink. Okay. Hearing good things. Wow, YouTubers. Oh, okay. Infinite bugs. Yes. I mean, it wouldn't be fun if it wasn't for all of the blooming bugs, would it? Right. So I'm just waiting for this settings file. So actually, what was that change I just made? That was another setting. So we haven't uploaded that yet, so that's fine. But we now know that that new version of MATE tweak is good. So that I can do something about. We have a new MATE tweak. We can do that. Actually, yeah, I do need to upload this. It'll get overridden by the Debian version I'm going to push in a moment, but I do want this because it requires that settings change too. So let's just get that done. I think, yeah, we've bumped that. We've done the release upstream. So actually, this is a Debian package change. So let's build that and then put it directly into the archive because we now know that works. So that goes up to the Hirsute archive, and then we'll just flip this back because the state that this package is going to look like in Debian is going to be that. And there should only be, yeah, that. Just stick myself to one side again. So we're going to just say bump. Because we had that point release because of the other bug that we found. No full stop at the end because this is no capitalization, no full stop at the end. That prevents it going into the change log. And we'll push that to Debian. Right, so that's that done. So MATE tweak, all done. Looking at my list of notes. And we've done the meta package stuff. We've done all the other bits. So it's literally just this settings file that we need to see complete building and test. And what did we break? Netbook again, wasn't it? No. Yeah. Redmond. It was the Redmond. Ah, there we go. So now we can pluck that out. So let's go to the VM. Oh. That's interesting. Oh, there we go. Let's go and refresh this. Go and find the current version for AMD 64. Copy that. Download it. Choose that path. Doink. Wrong password. Because this is a VM. Right. And Ubuntu MATE tweak. Okay, so we broke Redmond, so now we want to switch to the Redmond theme. And it works. Awesome. So now we've got Brisk in the Redmond theme. Thank goodness for that. So that's good. So that settings package can also be uploaded when that's finished building. So, boy, that was fun. Right then, sorry chat, I've not been paying close attention, but now I've got a minute or so. We'll just bring up the thing whilst, oh, we need to be outside of the VM, don't we? Let's wait for that to go. In fact, actually, we know it's fine, so we don't need to wait for it anymore. We can just get it published. And this can go directly to Ubuntu because these are Ubuntu specific changes, nothing that Debian uses in this. So we need to stage some files. So actually, let's go and get that done. Open development. Has that appeared on the? Yes, it has. Okay, Ubuntu development, Ubuntu MATE settings, and we're going to stage this file. Yeah, and remove that one, and we're going to say there we go. So that's that. And then this one is changing. Brisk menu. So any improvement to flatpak indicator icons? Martin, your dev builds are fast. Yeah. So yeah, I've got a very, very fast disk subsystem on this system. Maybe I'll. Well, I tell you what, I can give a hint as to why it's quick. I bring up disks to open in the right place. Yes. Okay. So this is my home directory here, and it's it says it's an 8 terabyte array. It's 4 2 terabyte drives in a RAID 0 stripe, and they're NVMe, so in a special 16 lane PCI Express adapter. So that all helps with the, here are the individual drives here, so that all helps with the performance. GNOME swallows how much RAM? No idea, and it's no good looking now because I've got a bazillion things open and I'm live streaming. Got virtual machines, and I just make sure I have enough RAM. Which is a luxurious position to be in. Henrik asks me how much RAM have I got. in this machine. $256 gigabytes. Right, where were we? So we've changed the layouts, then we've got a changelog entry here, which I will push. Oh no, I can do this one. We can just say, actually no, I won't. I'll do it on the command line because it's in my fish history and it's way quicker. So we're in settings, so git add Debian changelog. Push myself out of the way a second. Debian changelog, and this is no, not Debian changelog. We just want to say upload to a suite, and this was 2104.0. Okay. Let's just go and pick that. Go and do a GitHub release. Right, let's go over here. And we've got our settings package. There it is. So we'll just create a release for this. 2104.0. Oops. 2104.0, and we've got some changes or chimanges which look like that. There we go. So have I actually uploaded the settings? I haven't yet, have I? So if I do git status now, that's good. So we can now build our source package and put that in the archive. And that is the settings updated. Right. Any chance you'll introduce different color ambient Mate themes? Yep, Bill's got you covered there. We had BPy top running earlier, Popey. Right then. So, where are we now? I've uploaded the meta packages. Let's just go and see that they actually have turned up. We should see some evidence of them. Bit concerned I'm not seeing. I think I must have generated them and not uploaded them, so let's go and do that. Let's go and update the meta package. Well, no, it appears here that I have in fact done it. The package has already been uploaded. Why the heck has it not turned up then? Oh, I bet it's one of... Oh, I wonder if it's because... I will check on that in a moment, because that requires me to go and check my email logs, and I can't be bothered to go and do it, I suppose. Let's go and have a quick look. Right. Welcome back, Hydra Malice. Right, looking at my list, we've fixed all of the things. And let's just see if the settings has detected an upload, because so I switched to an entirely different workspace. Let's just check if Ubuntu MATE settings shows up in the archive yet. Not yet. Okay. All right. I'm not going to fret too much then. I'm just going to assume this is going to take a little while. So we have uploaded all of the packages we need to upload, including the artwork package that we worked on yesterday. So at this point, I think we've done what we set out to do this evening, which is to move some features out of the default install of Ubuntu MATE into a supported package set, so we can continue to upload and maintain those packages. And for those of you that want things like the HUD, you can still install it post-install. But the default install is now trimmed down and is without the dock, HUD, app menu support, without MATE menu, and the Mutiny layout is gone, and some of the other layouts are gone because the things that they require are not there by default. But if you install any of those things, they will magically reappear in MATE Tweak. So that's what we set out to do this evening. I'm going to drop into the Discord. You can find a link below. It's wimpysworld.io/Discord if you haven't already joined up there. And I'll be jumping into the community center voice chat. So if anyone's got any follow-on questions, observations, did you see something I got wrong that I didn't spot in chat, or Bill didn't spot in chat, unlikely. But that's where I will be in a few minutes from now. And if you haven't done all of those lovely YouTubery things, like, thumbs up and subscribing and all of that, then please do that as well. Because we're going to be doing quite a few more of these. I'm going to be doing some OBS related stuff over the coming days and weeks. And then the inverse of this, we're going to add some features to Ubuntu MATE perhaps, rather than just removing 18 months of work in, what was it, 2 hours? Yeah, 18 months of work to make those things and 2 hours to remove them. So thanks everyone for stopping by. Thank you, Bill, in particular, for moderating the chat and answering people's questions. I really appreciate that. Monica, I will try and remember where the heck in YouTube I make you a moderator, but I will be doing that after this stream. And thank you everyone for stopping by. Do subscribe, pay attention. We'll be back again in a couple of days doing something else. And I might do some gameplay here rather than Twitch as well. So got a couple of nice games I've been playing recently. So if you like a little bit of Linux gaming, then we'll be doing that here soon enough as well. But with that, I will say thank you very much for coming, everyone, and I'll hopefully see you next time. Bye for now.